There is a moment, a single, silent moment, when the world as you knew it ceases to exist. It is the moment you learn the truth, and in that moment, a shattering occurs. The map you were navigating was a lie. The ground you were standing on was never really there. This is the landscape of betrayal. Our common mistake is to listen to a world that is terrified of this landscape. It will tell you to forgive, to forget, to move on. It will rush you to clean up the rubble and pretend the earthquake never happened. But your soul knows a deeper truth. You cannot build a new world on top of the ruins of the old one. You must first have the courage to walk through the rubble. But what if this shattering is not the end of your story? What if it is an initiation, a necessary, sacred, and terrifying descent into the underworld of your own psyche? Carl Jung taught that the soul does not heal by climbing higher, but by first going down into the darkness to retrieve what was lost. This is the true shadow work, the work done not in theory, but in the very real fire of a broken heart. Today, we are not here to learn how to escape the pain. We are here to learn how to honor it. We will explore the complex alchemical journey of what comes after betrayal. We will ask the question that echoes in the ruins: can trust ever truly be rebuilt? And if so, what is the price? Let us begin the descent.
The pain of betrayal is not the pain of a broken rule. It is the pain of a broken world. When you enter a committed relationship, you are not just two people. You are co-creating a third entity, a shared reality, a we. This shared world has its own rules, its own history, its own sacred promises. It is the ground beneath your feet. Betrayal is a psychological earthquake that shatters that ground into a million pieces. You are plunged into a state of profound disorientation. It is not just sadness or anger. It is the dizzying, nauseating feeling of unreality. The past you thought you had is now a fiction. The future you were building towards has vanished, and you are left standing in the rubble, questioning everything, especially yourself. How did I not see this? Was I a fool? Can I ever trust my own judgment again? This is a descent, a journey into the underworld. And the feelings that arise here, the volcanic rage, the tidal waves of grief, the paranoia, the obsessive thoughts, these are not an overreaction. They are a sane response to an insane situation. This is a truth I have seen countless times in my work. The intensity of your pain is a measure of your love, and the depth of the reality that was destroyed. Let me tell you a story about a woman we'll call Sarah. Sarah had been married for 15 years. She thought her marriage was a good one, solid, predictable. One Tuesday afternoon, she discovered a hidden world, a world of secret debts, of gambles made and lost, a financial life her husband had lived entirely without her knowledge. The betrayal wasn't an affair, but it shattered her world just the same. She told me later, the hardest part wasn't the money. It was the realization that the man I ate breakfast with every morning was a stranger. The home I thought we were building together was a stage set. I wasn't just grieving a loss. I was grieving a life that had never actually been real. Sarah's world had been split in two, and in this state of psychic shock, the world rushes in with its most common and most damaging mistake. It tells you to forgive. It says to forgive is divine. Let it go. Move on. This advice, though often well-intentioned, is a form of profound violence to the soul. It asks you to build a new house while you are still buried in the rubble of the old one. It asks you to skip the most crucial part of the journey, the descent itself. So here is the first and most liberating piece of wisdom for this journey, a truth that Carl Jung understood is essential for any deep shadow work. You must separate two concepts that our culture has disastrously fused together: forgiveness and reconciliation. They are not the same. Forgiveness is an internal process. It is a profound, personal, and often solitary act. It is the work you do for you. It is the decision to stop carrying the burning coal of resentment in your own hand, hoping the other person will feel the pain. It is the act of cutting the psychic chain that binds you to the person who hurt you, so that you can reclaim your own life force. You can forgive someone completely and never speak to them again. Reconciliation, on the other hand, is an interpersonal process. It is the work of rebuilding a relationship, of repairing a broken bridge. It requires two active, willing, and courageous participants. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. Reconciliation is a choice you may or may not make based on the other person's demonstrated and sustained effort to earn back your trust. I want you to pause here with me, just for a moment, and feel the space between those two words, forgiveness and reconciliation. Feel the profound release in knowing that your own healing, your own freedom from the prison of resentment, does not depend on them. It does not depend on their apology, their understanding, or their change. Your healing belongs to you. This is the first light in the darkness, the first solid ground in the rubble. Your pain is real. Your rage is justified. And your timeline for healing is sacred. You do not have to rush. But this new clarity, this separation of forgiveness from reconciliation, leads us to the next most crucial question. If reconciliation is a choice, what does the path of repair even look like? What is the hard, unglamorous alchemical work that must be done to even begin the journey of rebuilding what was broken?
An apology is not the beginning of repair. It is merely the ticket of admission to the emergency room where the real work will be done. And that work is an alchemical fire. It is hot, it is difficult, and it is not for the faint of heart. And here is a profound truth. The burden of tending that fire lies primarily with the one who broke the trust. For the one who was betrayed, your only job is to heal. You are not responsible for rebuilding the bridge. You are only responsible for deciding whether you are willing to walk across it, if and only if it is rebuilt with integrity. So what does this work of repair actually look like? It is not a mystery. It consists of 3 non-negotiable tasks for the one who betrayed. And if they are unwilling or unable to do this work, then reconciliation is impossible. The first task is to end all deception and take full responsibility. This means radical, painful, and complete honesty. No more trickle-truthing, no more secrets. And it means a total surrender of blame. No, you were distant, so. No, we were going through a hard time. Only the clean, unequivocal, and soul-shaking words. I did this. It was my choice. It was a betrayal of you and of us. There is no excuse. Period. The second task, and this is the most difficult and the most crucial, is to bear witness to the pain. This means they must be willing to sit in the fire of your feelings without running away. They must be willing to listen to your rage, to your endless looping questions, to your tidal waves of grief for as long as it takes, without becoming defensive, without shutting down, and without ever saying the soul-killing words, "Aren't you over this yet?" This act of bearing witness is the only thing that can begin to communicate true remorse. It is the act of saying, "Your pain is real. I caused it, and I am strong enough to stand here with you in it." The third task is to live a life of living amends. Words are cheap in the aftermath of betrayal. Promises are meaningless. Trust is rebuilt in millimeters, not miles. It is rebuilt through a long-term, consistent pattern of transparent and trustworthy behavior. They must actively work to understand the why behind their actions. Through therapy, through deep inner work, they must rebuild a reputation for integrity, not with their words, but with their daily choices. And what of the one who was betrayed? What is your work in this fire? Your work is not for them. It is for you. It is the sacred task of coming home to yourself. And it too has 3 parts. Your first task is to honor the full spectrum of your feelings. The world will tell you that your rage is ugly, that your grief is too much. This is a lie. Your feelings are the sacred guardians of your soul. I invite you right now, just for a moment, to give your anger permission. It is not your enemy. It is the guardian of your dignity. Allow it to burn clean, to cauterize the wound, to tell you where your boundaries were violated. Your second task is to reclaim your reality. Betrayal is a form of gaslighting that can make you feel insane. You begin to doubt your own perceptions. Your work is to slowly, patiently recalibrate your inner compass, to begin trusting your gut feelings again, even in small ways, to listen to the quiet whisper inside that knew something was wrong all along. And your third task is the choice to risk again. This is the final and most courageous step. After a long time of the other person doing their work, you may choose to offer a small piece of trust, like extending a hand across a chasm, to see if it is held safely. This is a conscious, vulnerable choice. It is not a requirement, and it is not a switch that gets flipped. It is a gradual, tentative, and brave returning. Let's go back to Sarah. Her husband at first was defensive, but slowly he began to do the work. He answered every one of her questions, sometimes the same question 100 times. He sat with her when she raged. He held her when she wept. He went into therapy to understand his own shadow. And Sarah, she allowed herself to be furious. She wrote pages and pages of unsent angry letters. And slowly, she began to trust her own feelings again. The journey took years. It was the hardest work of their lives. But as the great Jungian analyst James Hollis says, the goal of the second half of life is not to be happy, but to be whole. True repair is not about returning to what was. The old relationship is dead. It is about seeing if two new people, forged in this fire, can build a new world together. So what is this new creation? What is the promise of a love that has walked through the fire? And what is the profound peace of choosing to walk away whole?
And so, after the fire, after the long, difficult work of repair, what is the new creation? What is the promise that can make such a painful journey worthwhile? There are two paths that can emerge from the rubble of betrayal, and both, if walked with consciousness, lead to a profound state of peace. The first path is the path of reconciliation. But the great mistake is to believe that repair is a return to what was. It is not. The old relationship, the one built on innocent, unconscious projection, is dead, and it must be mourned. What can be built in its place is something new, something stronger. In Japan, there is an art form called kintsugi. It is the art of mending what is broken with gold. The philosophy is that the object is more beautiful for having been broken. Its scars are not hidden, but honored. This is the promise of a second marriage. It is a relationship that is not based on the fantasy of perfection, but on the sober reality of two flawed human beings who have seen each other's deepest shadow and have consciously chosen to stay. The intimacy here is not the intoxicating fireworks of early romance. It is something quieter, deeper, more real. It is the intimacy of shared scars, of a trust that was shattered and then painstakingly, intentionally, and consciously rebuilt. This is a love that has been through the underworld and has returned with wisdom. But there is another path, a path of profound courage and self-love that our culture rarely honors. It is the path of the honorable release. Sometimes, after the betrayal, you do the deep inner work of healing. You allow your anger, you grieve your loss, and you realize that the bridge cannot or should not be rebuilt. Perhaps the other person is unwilling to do their work. Perhaps the breach of trust was so fundamental that your soul knows it can never feel safe there again. The common mistake is to see this choice as a failure. It is not a failure. It is a graduation. It is the ultimate act of self-parenting, of saying to your own wounded inner child,
I will not allow you to live in a house where you feel unsafe ever again. The peace that comes from this choice is not the peace of a shared future, but the quiet, sovereign peace of a soul that has finally come home to itself. You do not walk away in bitterness. You walk away whole. Do you see the secret? The profound, liberating truth hidden in both of these paths? Whether you stay and rebuild with gold, or you walk away with your own wholeness, the outcome is the same. In both stories, your peace is no longer dependent on them. Your sense of self is no longer hostage to their choices. You have taken back your projections. You have honored your pain. You have faced the abyss, and you have survived. You have proven to yourself that you are the anchor. You are the safe harbor. So I invite you to pause here with me, just for a moment. Close your eyes if you are able. Feel the ground beneath your feet, or the chair supporting your body. Feel your own quiet, solid presence. This is your ground. It was here before the betrayal. It is here now in the rubble, and it will be here tomorrow. This is the peace that no one can give you and no one can ever take away. This is the great work that Carl Jung pointed to. The journey of shadow work is not just about facing your own darkness. It is about facing the darkness of life and discovering the unshakable light within yourself. Your broken heart becomes a kintsugi heart, and the scars are not signs of damage. They are the map of your wisdom, the proof of your resilience, the source of your compassion for all others who walk this difficult road. You are no longer a victim of your story. You have become a healer, and the first person you have healed is yourself. But as we heal from the darkness of this kind of negative projection, we must also become aware of a more subtle and sometimes even more dangerous trap. What happens when the projection is not of our darkness, but of our brightest light? What happens when we don't demonize someone, but when we turn them into a god?
And so, we have walked together through the shattered landscape of a broken world and into the alchemical fire of repair. We have learned that forgiveness is for you, and reconciliation is a choice. We have honored the hard work that must be done by both the one who broke the trust and the one whose world was broken. The great liberation of this journey is realizing that your wholeness was never in their hands to begin with. It has always been yours. Whether the bridge is rebuilt with the gold of conscious effort, or whether you choose to walk away into the quiet dignity of your own path, you arrive at the same sacred destination. A profound, unshakable peace. A freedom that is no longer dependent on another's actions. You have descended into the underworld of your own grief, and you have returned, not unscathed, but whole. This is the great paradoxical gift of a broken heart, a heart that has been shattered and has been consciously tended to, does not heal back to its original shape. It cannot. It heals into something new, something stronger, a kintsugi heart, a heart whose cracks are not signs of weakness,
but are the beautiful golden seams of its own resilience, its own wisdom. This is the work of Carl Jung, the journey of the self. It is the ultimate shadow work to discover that your greatest strength was forged in your deepest wound. You are no longer a victim of your story. You are a testament to the soul's unbreakable capacity to heal and to find meaning in the rubble. Your scars do not make you unlovable. They make you a guide. This is not just a lesson. It is an invitation to a final quiet act of self-honor, a personal ritual to mark your survival and your rebirth. The act of consciously blessing your own heart, of acknowledging its courage, of coming home. If you were walking this path right now, I invite you to a small act of self-validation. You can do it right now with me. Place a hand on your heart. Take one slow, deep breath, and in the quiet of your own being, simply say to yourself, "My pain is real, and my heart is healing." Let this not be for me or for anyone else. Let this be a moment of profound communion with your own resilience, an anchor in the storm. In the comments below, if you feel comfortable, I invite you to share one word that describes the strength you have discovered in yourself through this ordeal. Let us create a testament to the power of the human heart to not just survive, but to become more beautiful for having been broken. And as we learn to navigate the darkness of this kind of negative projection, this demonization of the other, we must also become aware of a more subtle and sometimes even more dangerous trap. The trap not of our darkness, but of our brightest light. What happens when we don't demonize someone, but when we turn them into a god?